Hey everyone, welcome to an extended look at all of the paint schemes in the 1991 pack. With me today is Falcon, one of our community members. We're going to be going through all of the paints and then some, and talking about them, talking about early 90s stuff just in general. I know this is a long video. You don't have to watch this if you're not here for this sort of long content, but I think it's a good one to maybe put on while you're playing the new pack and enjoying it, and something to listen to while you game. So I hope you stay for the whole thing, and I appreciate everybody checking it out. Driver portraits are not accurate. This is for you and for the video. The driver portraits need updating for a lot of people.
Alright.
I still have all that to do, but I'm just recording this with you a little early so I have this ready and edited, and then once it's good to go, I can release it all.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Let's kick it off.
Yeah, go for it.
So, very first, this one did not change very much from last season. Granted, it was Terry Labonte, now it's Rick Mast. So, that's one difference on that guy. But that one's pretty much the same paint as last year. Was Oldsmobile both seasons. It's nothing too different.
Nope.
Big change on this one.
Midnight.
Yeah, Rusty Wallace coming to Midnight, going from his 27 car to the famous number 2, or would-be famous number 2. Very few contigs on this one, but I made sure to try to match that. Also, the first new version of the Pontiac, kind of, I don't want to call them the lights, but whatever, the light shape.
Yeah, they would run that model from 91 to 95.
Yeah. I'm not sure why my frame rate is not great on my game at the moment, because it seems to be fine. Okay, well, whatever. We'll go with it. The famous number 3. Again, not too much different on this one. This is what he ran late season, where it said Mr. Goodwrench on the back and Quick Lube Plus on the back. So his late 90 paint is basically his 91 paint. And we got the
Swervin'
Irvan. Number 4. Kodak Gold Film. This one, again, did not really change much from 90 to 91. That's going to be the case with a lot of paints. That's how the early 90s were. But the further we get in this list, I promise you, the more new paints you'll see. Ricky Rudd. Slight change on the Tide Ride. They added that weird boxing to
blue arrows.
Yeah, which was like the box had the blue arrows in the corners. There's also a little Superflow container
logo
on the seat pillar. That was kind of a pain to make, but also fun. And Mark Martin.
The last year of that paint scheme.
Yep. And this one did slightly change from 90 to 91. All I actually did was change the tone of the red, because it did, in reference pictures I had, either the 91s weren't as good as 91, or 91 they actually might have changed the shade of paint, because it's got a bit more of a purple hue to it, but just slightly.
Seems like it.
Does it need an intro?
Nope.
So
not at all.
This is a fun one. There's multiple paints for this, so this is what ends up being his primary paint for the majority of the season. Obviously not how he started the year. However, I'm gonna just do this. There we go. Was pretty blank, pretty clear. Had the Ford logo on the back some weeks. This one actually changed a little bit as far as what was on it from week to week, but I just kind of did 2 versions of it.
But that one was at Richmond in 91.
Yes. Also, I think Rockingham, he ran this scheme.
Yep.
And was it Atlanta? Maybe Atlanta. I don't remember. Then we also have this slightly different version, which was Darlington. Last minute edition of Hooters, which weirdly every picture I saw did not have the O's hollowed out on the side, but it did on the rear. Which was odd. And then to backtrack, here's one you're gonna like. once I hit apply. There we go.
I actually got that car.
Yep. So the beautiful Army car from Daytona. I think I did a fairly good job of getting the globs of camo pretty well spread out
Yeah.
and looking similar to the car.
It looks really good.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to Rick Wilson. This one, only a slight change from 90 to 91 for the majority of the paint. A lot of these changed, but the number itself on the door, I think, was white in 90, and now it's blue like the roof number was. But otherwise, pretty much the same. Oh, and different driver. I think it was it Bobby Hillen in 90?
Yes, it was Bobby Hillen.
Now it's Rick Wilson. Big change on the next one. They went blue.
Blue.
They went blue instead of red. They flipped the red and blue spots.
That number's kind of wonky.
Yeah, that's how I know it looks strange, but that's actually how it is on the car. That number flattening out on the top and bottom. That's actually how the number was designed.
Oh, that's weird.
I know, I don't like it. It's sticking out on the front. Like I actually, you know what? I will bring up a reference photo. Give me a moment.
Oh boy. Oh jeez. Oh, that's
Hang on, they
awful.
can't see that. Yeah, no. So this is, it's flat on the top. The front sticks out further than this. The bottom's flat. That's how the number actually is. So when I did my best, maybe my outline's a little thin now that I look at it. I could always fix that, but I did my best to represent these as I could on this body.
Yeah.
All right, Derek Cope.
The last year of that car.
Yep, and this one, they made the number a lot bigger on the door in 91. They also changed, it's more of a gradient. Last year it was a single color fill.
Solid.
Yep. So I tried to make that look a little, it was reflective as well, so I mean, we can't quite do that, but I tried to make that look close-ish.
Yeah.
And then we have Jeff Bodine. Oh, you know what? I skipped all the fun stories on the early ones. I have... give me a moment. Let me switch this back for them. So Ernie Irvan's number 4 at Charlotte, they wrecked early on. And he came back a while later with the car repaired, and I'm going to say air quotes there. And they were in such a hurry to try to get the car repaired that they put the passenger door back on upside down.
Oh boy.
So
that looks great.
So I thought that was a funny, worth mentioning when I was looking for reference pictures and watching old races and stuff. I was like, yeah, I'm not making that one. But that's funny. So yeah, they just slapped that one on there. And on Bodine, so very similar to 90, but there was a brief period in time, and I think you know this story a little better than I do. Oh, this might not actually work. I have the folder named the same thing. That's not going to work. Oh, no. Okay, cut here. Please hold. Might have to reload some stuff. I see what I did wrong.
Oh boy.
Yeah, hold on. I have to restart the mod tool.
Crop this out.
Yeah, no, this is all getting cut. Don't worry.
Alright.
That shows up correctly. Okay, I need to regenerate textures, and then default off, and then swap that through. And we should be, let me just see if that stays on. Okay. Alright, we're back. So this one, I think you're going to know better than I did detail-wise, but for a little while he was the 97. Do you care to take that one, Falcon?
So this is when Junior Johnson got suspended, and his car got suspended. Car owner Junior Johnson got suspended, and the car got suspended. So his wife decided to make a cup team.
And I don't know if you know this part. So Tommy Ellis drove, I know you know this. Tommy Ellis drove this as well, which Tommy Ellis is in this pack in the 97 car, just to, because I had the paint already, so I thought it'd be fun to add him. But briefly, this car was not number 97 or 11. Do you know what car number this had?
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
Pop quiz.
You would have asked me, I would have known. Damn it.
Well, I have a picture of it.
All right, go ahead.
So it was the number 31.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And that only lasted through practice. When they ran the race, they had changed it to 97. It was 31 for practice at, I think this is Charlotte, for that weekend.
Yeah.
So that was a fun one. I don't think I have too many other fun facts, maybe, but I do have other. I don't know if we want to go through cars that didn't make it into the pack, but we can do that. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Hut Strickland with a very big color change on this paint from last year.
Yep.
Was red.
Probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, and let me tell you, this shade of blue, trying to get this to look like the correct sort of blue to what this car was really tough, because this thing from one photo to another photo to another photo, it looks like three completely different blues, even at the same track. So this was a really tough one to nail down, but I think I got the blue pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next up,
Most definitely.
Next up is probably one of my favorite paints that is just really simple. There's nothing to this paint. I think what I like about it is the number font. I think that's what makes it blast out to me, but I really like this Morgan Shepherd car. Also very different looking.
I've always liked Budmore Engineering anyway.
True. Also, speaking of really good-looking paint schemes.
Oh.
you sounded like you didn't like it.
No, I like the paint scheme. I just don't like the driver.
Yeah, I know. No, this paint scheme is fantastic. Very tough to do as well. Also, shout out to ACRacing for his help with a lot of the decals for the 90s, the early 90s stuff.
AC always comes in clutch.
Yeah, so this, I don't know if he made the original or if someone else did, but this number was provided by him, so I didn't have to fiddle around with the number. I think I added the white outline maybe because I don't think his version had it. ACRacing, if you guys don't know, he does a lot of paint scheme and modding stuff for NASCAR Racing 2 mostly. So a lot of his paint scheme versions are kind of simplified because of color limitations in those games, and also they didn't let you put a sponsor on the trunk. So this whole fancy logo that I happen to find a good version of that's on the trunk of his car is, you can't even do that in NASCAR Racing 2 because they just literally only let you pick a color for the trunk. There's no logos. All right, next up.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Next up is Chad Little, although now that I'm seeing this, so some of this stuff, I'll be honest, I thought I had everything set up ready to go for this, and I apparently didn't. So there's a couple of Chad Little paints that I now am noticing, or no, he did only run 2 in 91, never mind. Okay, no, this is good. I didn't mess up. So There's the primary one where Tyson's on the hood and Bullseye's secondary, and then there's where Bullseye's on the hood and Tyson is secondary. Actually, I think this is Bullseye's all around it. There's probably 5 other iterations of combinations of where they did and didn't have the different logos, but I think just doing the 2 was plenty enough.
Still look great. Look at paint scheme.
Yes. So next up is an interesting one. So in the 91 pack, this is what you guys are going to get. But optionally, you can swap this out, and I will explain a little more later. But this is Bobby Hillen Jr. driving what was Rob Moroso's car, and Rob Moroso's team continued on and put Bobby Hillen in the car. So they have the regular Rob Moroso Memorial one. There is the Rob Moroso Memorial / Napa one that's very basic as well. There's the Napa and Moroso blue car. Then there's also the Napa and Valvoline one, which this should look familiar from the 90 pack. It was the 22 car Rick Mastro for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same design there. Then they also, for one race, had Tyson on board. I believe, I'm not, don't quote me on this, but I believe that Chad Little DNQ'd for this race. And so they went on to Bobby Hillen's car for the race. And now this one wasn't, the next one I'm about to show you, it was not Bobby Hillen. And actually some of these might not have been too, because they had a few different people. Hillen's who I have in the car. But I wanted to include this because it is a very unique paint. It only ran or attempted one race at Daytona and didn't make the field, I believe, was their Glad car. This was Sammy Swindell, I believe, was, if I remember right. I actually forget now. Also, I don't know why they did the roof number as a white number with a red outline, but that's what they decided, so that's what it is. But I decided to include it.
Interesting.
I thought it'd be a fun one. All right, next up is very familiar. Not much different than last year. A couple of logos switched around. The trunk's got a new one. General Electric Cellular. In 1991, they had Cellular something something. I forget what it says there. And another completely new paint. Beautiful mouse. Junior Johnson owned. Number 22 car driven by Sterling Marlin. I do have to update his. I mean, everybody's portrait needs an update. But Maxwell House. This one was another one that, like, getting the shades of blue was really tough. I'm still not sure exactly what's right with it, but this is pretty good, so I'm okay with it.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, got Mickey Gibbs in the Team 3 Racing. And yes, the number was that low on the doors that I saw pictures. Actually, the passenger one might be too low, but the driver one is low. I might go back and fix that, but yeah, they had it pretty low on the doors for at least the driver's side. I did this one too low. I forgot to adjust it back up. So note to me, I'll fix it then. And one more paint on this one from Daytona.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful Air Force car. Do you want to explain why 5 different cars had special paints for Daytona in 91?
It was the Persian Gulf.
Yeah, the Persian Gulf War was going on, and there was a lot of support going out for the troops. So they decided to do special paint schemes that represented the 5 different sections of the U.S. I don't want to say Army because it was Army's one of the sections. Our military forces, I guess, would be the best way to encompass all of that. But yeah, this only ran one race at Daytona, but I like this one the best. Also, actually, I do have an interesting tidbit on that. If I can find the picture, this is going to be tough. You know what? It wasn't the 24. I'll have to remember which car it is as we get to it, and then we'll cover that. So next we have Kenny Schrader in an updated Kodiak 1. I like his 90 paint better than this personally. I don't know.
I like that one better than the 90.
You like this one better? Okay.
Hmm.
I don't dislike this one. I just didn't. I don't know. This seemed basic to me for the most part, but versus the other one, it does still stand out regardless. For a white car, it does. You know, with the green stripe on it, it does really stand out.
I mean, I do have a wooden cutout of that car.
See, so you're biased then. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just a Hendrick Motorsports fan.
No, that's fair. Fair enough. All right, next up, Brett Bodine. So
has it changed?
It did actually, very subtly. So this one's interesting. This is what it looked like in 1990. This is also what it looked like for about 3 races in 1991. And then they changed it to that slightly different shade green and changed the stripe.
More of a brighter green, yeah.
Yep. And then changed the stripe to just be white with a single black line on it and bottomed out on the paint, whereas before it had green underneath it in the front. So they just slightly changed it there. And then who could forget this paint?
You can't.
You can't. I love that his cars always had something like "Stay in School" on it. I think at Bristol they had the "Dare Say No to Drugs" on the car somewhere too. There was a lot of the good messages to kids on the Davey paints.
Oh yeah.
All right, next.
And then just keep rotating.
Yep. Yeah, they just swap them out. I only did the one with "Stay in School" on it. I thought about putting the Dare one on, but I actually surprisingly could not find a good early 90s version of the Dare logo. So I just left it out. We got Mikey Waltrip with a big change.
Bahari Racing.
Yep. No more, same team, but no more country time for him. He started drinking oil.
Pennzoil.
Heard it ran clean. Next one, very, very, very minimal changes on this one. I don't even remember what they were, but I know I just touched up a couple of things. But not much different than 90. The old Skull Bandit.
Yes.
Next up, we got a part-timer and a paint scheme that probably a lot of people watching this video have not seen before.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep. And let me tell you, it took me a while to figure out what it said down here. This was easy enough, but it took me a very long time to figure out what this said, because I had a low-quality picture. Let me see if I could show it. So I had a pretty good shot of it here, but trying to figure out what that says, what does that say? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
And then I actually didn't make this one. There's a red version because this is the only picture I have of it. And this, I'm like, oh, it's great. Allen's associated, and it took me a while to figure out that it was glass. But I actually found out via finding a listing where it said what his main, air quotes, main sponsor was for this race, which said Allen's Associated Glass. Surprisingly, it was not this. Also, I was not able to identify what was on the trunk. I could not find that anywhere.
Aw, man.
Yeah. I mean, the pictures of this are all from losing that wheel and crashing, so that's as much as I got of it as reference. And this one, that's really it. But got most of it. Trunk logo is the only real big thing missing on this one. And weirdly, the back having that bumper stripe across was a detail. I mean, it was reflective, but it was supposed to be an actual bumper. But we obviously can't do something like that, unfortunately.
Yeah, but we'll eventually figure it out.
I don't know for Thunder 04, if we will. I mean, I guess we could crank up reflections and stuff, but not in certain areas on certain cars. That'd be tough.
Right.
All right, next up. Oh, that number.
Hey.
I need to fix that.
Kellogg.
Oh no, it does have a gap. Okay, that's fine. Yep. So the Kellogg's Corn Flakes number 41, which surprisingly, and I don't know if you know this one, it does have an alternate. And what they did is they changed the shade of yellow, and they have Jasper engines on the side and the trunk, and side and the trunk. It's just
that's cool as shit.
It's just a slightly different yellow and has Jasper engines on it, but I am certain that they changed the shade of the car, so I made sure I did. Next paint also needs no introduction. It's, Cole Petty, Kyle Trickle, whatever his name is.
Yep.
Beautiful paint, classic, iconic, thanks to the movie. I honestly, without the movie, I still think this would be an iconic favorite paint of a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
But the movie definitely helped.
Oh,
Richard Petty.
Need to know introduction.
Yep. And let me tell you, I know it's not perfect in some places. I don't mind pointing them out. But, man, this looks the same as 91 or 90, right? No. They changed the thickness of all of these stripes and where they cut off and where they angle up and the logo being cut. They changed all that from 90 to 91 for some reason. So I had to redo all the striping, which was a real pain because of the curved parts of the template. It's not great. And meeting front to back and up the... Honestly, this is the worst part to try to match up is the spoiler. But it turned out pretty good. So, end of the day, no real complaints. Next up. Kanawha Insurance for Greg Sachs in the 47.
Yeah. I do like that car. It's just...
Agreed. There's also... So, as far as things that didn't make the cut, I'm a little sad I didn't get this one.
The red version.
Yeah, they only ran, as far as I'm aware, one race with this, maybe two. And of course, ACRacing, that's the sponsor. That's on the hood here. I have no idea what this is. So I decided to leave it out because I couldn't identify more than just this, and I think that it's also here. But I don't know for sure. The other picture I have of this car was at mid-crash, and I don't know what's on the back. So...
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I ended up leaving that one out just because I couldn't find enough pictures for it. However, as you know, and as some people may know, what did Greg Sachs run in Daytona?
Yes.
And it did update. I don't have it updating the icon, but that will be fixed for the final. But it does update the number 2 when you swap this paint. Now, this is the one I was thinking of. Oh, I don't have the picture of it. Man. Hang on. I'm gonna find it. Give me... So, there's another shot of this car that was released as a trading card in 92. And you may notice that the blue is different. The white's not on the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
The car number is a completely different color. So they actually painted this car, I guess, for initial speed weeks. They did some promo photo shoot with this and the other paint schemes. And then, for some reason, they completely redesigned this car. And despite doing a whole photo shoot with these cars, this is the only photo I've ever seen of this thing. And I didn't know it existed till I stumbled on the playing card. Or trading card. I keep saying playing card. So yeah, there's a weird...
I'm going to play this Support the Troops Navy card.
I mean, it would be a good one. I'm going to play him in the outside lane. Oh my god. Now I want to make a card game that's racing.
That would be an idea.
I'm gonna play this card in the middle 3 wide. There he goes. All right, next up, one of my favorite paints to do that I did not know existed prior to starting the 91 pack.
Oh, I love that. That's the first time they sponsored our Cup team.
Correct. As far as we're aware, they might have done a one-off with somebody, but as far as a full season, I think he did most of the season. He didn't quite do all of it. Actually, he did. I have him listed as 12 races, so about a third of the season. But doing this part of the logo was really fun and interesting. I actually had to kind of, this font I couldn't find exactly for the Interstate stuff where it was pre-made, so I kind of made some of that manually because it's not the same font as this.
Yeah.
Weirdly, on the door they used a different one. Figuring out what this said was a pain, but I found it. This on the hood, this 1-800-CRANK-IT is a phone number they used at the time. So that was pretty fun. Next up, Jimmy Means. This one did not. This is kind of funny though. There's one detail that's funny about this, but this one did not really change from 90 to 91, except it's on the newer Pontiac shape slightly. The weird thing about this one, in 1990 they went through like 4 different designs of the car number, and this number design that they used for 91, they only used once in 1990, and it wasn't at the end of the season, it was at the Daytona 500. So for some reason in 91 they decided, like, of all the choices they went through, that they settled on the first one that they used from 90. I don't know why. Alright, next up, Ted Musgrave. Jasper Engines number 55. That is not what the car looked like at the beginning of the season, but it is what he ran for majority of the year, was the Jasper paint with the Panther on the hood. But he, for the early season, ran a car that looked like this. The sponsor did swap from week to week for the first like 4 or 5 races, but this was the only one I could find really, really good reference photos for. I do have an Alka-Seltzer variant that I debated doing, but I'm still on the fence because Jimmy Means has Alka-Seltzer already covered, so kind of either way. And I imagine they probably jumped to Musgrave if Jimmy Means didn't qualify, because Means only made 20... I don't know if he attempted 20 or if he made 20 races, to be honest. I'm not sure which. That I have 20 here for him, but I don't know which. So one of the races Means didn't run. Alka-Seltzer swapped over to the 55, but I did not paint that yet. Not sure if I will.
Oh no, I think you should.
It's not too hard, honestly, because they left the car white, so it's mostly just slapping logos on. But the thing is, Alka-Seltzer changed their font, even from one logo to the next. Like, I think the side to the hood is slightly different. Or you know, I might be thinking 1990. I don't know, but it was.
I think you're thinking of 90.
But on Musgrave's paint, though, what they did change, it's not this blue and this red. It's a different shade of blue and a different shade of red entirely. So I will have to redo the logo if I wanted to do that. And the logo is different hood to side. So I'd have to redo 2 logos, at least. And it's different on the back, too. It doesn't have the fast relief. It's just a full square or rectangle.
Huh.
And I know that looks high on the car, on the back, but that's how it is on the car.
That's the way it is.
Yeah, a lot of the alignment stuff, if it seems off, it's probably actually intentional to match what they did. All right, next up, Lake Speed in the 66.
That paint scheme hasn't changed.
Except for, it actually did a little bit. They slightly changed the stripes. I'd have to load up last year's to show you. I don't know offhand exactly, but they slightly changed the stripes. I think it had white on the bottom as well and was placed differently. And then this version.
Oh, cool.
it took me forever to get this logo, and actually Dr. Noise and his Discord crew, actually I think it was just Dr. Noise that found this one. They helped me find logos whenever I was struggling, so shout out to those guys as well. But somebody found a really good version of this logo, and then I actually found another version right after that, which was funny because I looked for like a half hour straight was trying to find this logo. But then somebody figured out what it said on the trunk vaguely, and adding that to my search, I found a good quality version. So,
heck yeah.
Teamwork. Next up, this one's basically the same as late last year.
But the number font is different.
Yep.
On the doors. I moved it.
Yep. And the shade of pink is different as well. They had a lighter shade. This one's more of like a neon pink than the previous year. Also, the back, for a while, finding low quality footage and images of this, I thought that he just had. Let me see if I can find the pictures I'm referring to. Yeah. Okay. So at first glance, I thought they just had black squares here when you're watching video footage. But this one image, I was like, wait a second, that's a black stripe with the rookie stripe on it. So that's what I did.
Because that was his rookie year in 91.
Correct. But honestly, on like, if you watch video of it, if you're just watching it and you see the back of the car, even from that shot that I took, if you don't pause it and notice that, or if you don't pause it, you won't notice that is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it just looked like two black boxes on the car for majority of the footage, so that was a weird detail that I like. You're going to be excited for the next one.
Yay, it hasn't changed.
I did redo the apples from 90 to 91 just because I found a fancier way to try to recreate them.
Yep.
Because we had I know you spent a lot of time on the apples in 90, and they were hard to find a good quality thing of, but I managed to find a nicer way to redo them. So I did. But Marcus has 5 paint scheme versions, and
I'm excited for this.
So number 2 is the AEL rentals, or AEU. Is it AEL or AEU? I think it's AEL.
I'm not sure.
That's a weird font choice there, but there's also the high point bedding variant, which again, mostly just the hood logo. This also changed. They made the Mike Miller's text black and put a white box on it. So a couple little details there. But what you're excited about
That's cool.
You want to tell the story?
No, I'll let you tell the story.
So late in 91, Dave Marcus was, and if I get anything wrong, correct me, but Dave Marcus, I believe, wrecked a car in early practice. They used to practice like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like it was all week long for a lot of races. But late in the season, it was either Atlanta or Rockingham. I don't remember which. I think it was Rockingham. Yeah. Because he actually ran this car also at Atlanta. So both those races. But Rockingham, he had wrecked his car, and he was already good friends with Earnhardt, good friends with Childress, and he was short on money and time. So he asked them if he could run their equipment for the week and, pay for this, that, and the other that he could, and run their car. And not only did he run their equipment, he ran what was more or less a test car for RCR, where they had some stuff on the setup and stuff they wanted to try that they didn't want to waste a race on. And Marcus qualified and ran in the top 5 for that Rockingham race for quite a while. I don't think he finished well. I think they had an issue mid-race at Rockingham, but he qualified and ran a great race, and it really showed, whether fortunate or unfortunate, it showed the discrepancy of equipment from front to back of the field in 91. But it also showed how much talent Marcus still had, because he was wheeling and dealing in this thing. If you've not seen it, I recommend going to NASCAR Classics and watching at least the first half of the '91 Rockingham race, the fall race, because it was pretty fun to see.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
And they covered him really well. Like, the broadcast was so excited to see him running well and in good equipment, and they were as surprised as any of us, because when you don't know as a fan, you don't know whether it's the driver of the car, whatever it is. A good example being the 6 car at Roush in the 20 teens. When it had Reagan and then Trevor Bayne and a couple different people, and you think it's just the driver probably, but then they put Matt Kenseth in that car, and Matt Kenseth said it was some of the worst cars he's ever driven, and he was finishing in the mid-high 20s with it most weeks. So suddenly, hey, it might not have been the drivers they had, it might be other stuff, and
Yep.
sometimes we'll never know that sort of thing, and sometimes it's obvious if you get the right swap, like Marcus in Earnhardt's equipment. All right. And, there's one more. And this is going back in time. The Daytona U.S. Coast Guard paint.
That's perfect.
Thank you. It's simple, but again, the colors and the shading and getting getting all the little details right, that's the part you got to, try to get right. Where the white stripe stops from the U.S. logo, that's something that a lot of people wouldn't notice. Not saying I just, trust me, I was halfway through painting some of these and I'm like, oh, wait a second, this is wrong. And I had to redo some stuff. So I'm not saying I even noticed first pass either. I'm just saying it's easy to miss some details like that. And as far as the orange one goes through the numbers, the white one does not. I think because the white would wash out the number a little more. So they actually left it blue in between where the white stripe is on the roof. But I was lucky to have found some really good pictures from Daytona. Actually, this isn't quite the one, but this... Well, actually, no, it is this one. So you can see where the stripes start and end and where they cut off. So this was a really good reference photo for that. All right, next up, Joe Ruttman in the Food Lion Dinner Bell Oldsmobile? Yeah, still Oldsmobile. I had to think for a second.
Yep, still Oldsmobile.
Except there's also the Chevy version.
Yep.
Which the Oldsmobile was most of the season. The Chevy was a smaller portion. But they did run both. Next up is another fun driver and another Daytona paint. And
probably my favorite car out of all 5 of them.
And you know how I mentioned about the designs changing on the Daytona paints over multiple races, or between multiple photos? Most of the photos before the race, there's no white outline on the numbers. There's no white outline on the text. It's all just that reflective gold, which, by the way, trying to get that to look right was also a pain. I got it close. But this is the other photo I have where they have the outline. So this is just a day later. And they added trim. And they actually redid the number entirely or the contigs, because the spacing here is different. So they painstakingly redid one of these two things between the 2 days. And there was a lot of that going on for Daytona. That pretty much is the only time that happens. But yeah, this is the only picture I had where it had the outlines on the text and stuff. It was this one photo. Because the other one I have, oh no, this one has it. So this is what's funny. So this one has no outlines on anything. This one has outlines on the text on the hood and the numbers. This one has outlines on the numbers, but not the hood text. So
that's cool.
Every version is different. I also have, so he ran that car for, hang on, I have my notes on
Daytona.
This one. He ran that one at Daytona, but for what team?
Oh, jeez.
Aha, quiz time.
Mm. It's not Dyard.
Nope. It's a very famous Earnhardt adjacent team. Early Earnhardt career team. But not that one, the other one.
Osterland.
That is it. So Daytona, he drove for Osterland Racing. And then later in the season, he did multiple starts, mostly super speedways, but still a couple of other tracks for Moroso Racing. And this is the only one I could find good pictures of at all. I don't know how to pronounce that.
That's interesting on that number font.
Yep.
Later use.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Wait, what is it?
The number font. Talking about Dale Jr. in the 88.
Oh. Okay, I didn't make that connection at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one, the car that I had good reference photos for was Talladega, so that's what this paint is based off of, though he did run other races for Moroso Racing in the 88 car, but I could not find a single picture of it at other tracks. This one will look familiar.
Yep.
So for the non-eagle-eyed viewers, and by that I mean including myself, if I was watching this video and hadn't already gone over the paints and the pictures, there were a couple small changes to this from 90 to 91. The outline in 90 was red, was the Sunoco red. Now it's the Sunoco yellow. And the stripes, the amount of stripes on the front, the amount of stripes on the side, and the spacing, that all changed.
Oh, yeah.
And it does not wrap the back. I think in 90 it sometimes didn't wrap the front. It was just, subtle little things. Next up.
One of my favorite cars.
Sorry. Yep. Next up we have Jimmy Spencer. You know what? Oh, I do have the second version of this. Okay, there are two versions of this. So Banquet, Planters Peanuts. I actually am really glad they had Planters Peanuts on here, because for the 1990 cars, I found this 1990 Planters Peanuts guy that was on the paint scheme. But in 1990, it was like really small right here and really small on the driver headlight. And that was it. But they have it bigger on the trunk, so I was glad that I got to use that, because it was a nice quality one that I found. The other paint, I'll give you one guess what track this one was run at.
Bristol.
That's it. So for the Food City 500 and I think the other Bristol race, he ran the Food City paint, logos. And let me tell you, if you guys think Jimmy Spencer was a hack and not a great driver and this, that, the other thing, go back to the NASCAR Classics, watch 1991 Spring Bristol race. This dude was wheeling and dealing and flying, and let me tell you, this equipment's not super great. And again, we said about how much equipment mattered for, Dave Marcus. I really think you put Jimmy Spencer in a really good car in the early 90s, and his whole career looks different. I think another good example.
I him at Chip Ganassi during 2002 and 03.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. When he came to Ganassi, I think he was on the downward side of his career and not at his peak, but he challenged many different races up front.
Bristol.
Yeah, Bristol especially. Bristol was his wheelhouse. That just fit his style.
Yeah, it did.
But yeah, so this one, like I said, I highly recommend going back and watching the 91 Bristol, and keep in mind that this equipment is not super great. I think he was lapped and got himself unlapped and then got to the lead, and he was just on a mission that day. All right.
Excuse me.
No, you're all good. All right, next up. So let's see if you even know this one.
Scott Gaylord. I was at Daytona.
No, sir.
It wasn't.
What's all right? If there's two types of racing that you have a weird set of drivers with some unique paints and some weird. I mean, they literally had it go behind the configs.
Race.
No. What's the other thing that we get invaders for?
Road courses.
That's it. This is a Sonoma car.
Huh.
And lucky for me, unlucky for him,
he crashed.
He spun out. So I got some good shots of different things, and it took a little bit of doing to figure out what it said here. I never figured out what it says here exactly. I have some guesses, but I don't want to guess. But he spun out of turn 2, which they had a camera up on the wall at a turn 2, and he ended up, and so that's how I could tell for sure what that says. Yeah, so, but his number was cut off, and what was funny is for the longest time I was watching this, I didn't know what his number was. I was like, there's a 0 here, but what the heck is that? It's like a half of a 3 or something. When it's blurring by in low quality, it's hard to see. But once he came to a stop, I was like, literally, I get it now. But, yeah. Got a couple different shots of that one. So I thought I'd include it. I like including the road course ringers because you can just swap them. You can keep them as fantasy drivers till you get to the road course and then change them to, I could make them fantasy right now and then, actually, no. Why did that not change? Hang on. Oh, no. Well, all right. Note to self. Look into why that didn't change. I tried to change them to fantasy. It didn't let me. Oh, you know what? I know why it didn't change. Because I have the roster cheat option still checked, which if you watch my video, I say don't leave it checked. And then if I hit apply, now he's fantasy or inactive.
There you go.
So then you could do this for all the tracks except the road courses, and then you get to the road courses and you could swap him to active without having to leave the game anymore. Right, next paint. This one should look a little familiar.
That's a Rob Moroso car.
I actually don't know / don't think so. Actually, no, it's not.
Oh, wow.
It might have been in 90 because he did run the same paint pretty much in 90. But this is a Smoky Eunuch car.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I thought you'd like that.
Take that information what you will.
All right, moving right along. Bill Meacham.
Oh, that's a cool car.
Yeah. I also have to fix his passenger number. A lot of the passenger numbers, my alignment is messed up because they were slightly offset on my templates, but
that's all right.
Yeah, I'll go through and get them. But this one, he ran Darlington, and this was the only shot I had for a while, and then I found, and this one from middle of the race, and then I found very, very later after I thought I was done with this paint, in like some pre-race home video from Darlington.
Oh, wow.
I got a really good shot of his number, and I'm like, I can nail it. Turns out this is basically Arial font, by the way, so it ended up not being that exciting. Anyway, it's a little different than what I have. I went with the Arial font, but it's just only slightly different there, really.
Yeah.
So close enough for me. R.K. Smith.
No fear.
No fear. Yes. So this was a fun one. I didn't realize. So again, a Sonoma car that luckily wrecked right by a camera. And in the shots, you can see that's fear. If you look up that logo, I mean, this is that logo, but early '90s No Fear clothing logo. That's what that was. And I got a shot of the back. I don't know what it says here. I didn't want to assume it says No Fear because they put dark blue text on dark red. It just, you can't read that. But I at least knew he put the number on the left, so I did that much. But very simple but very unique little road course ringer paint scheme that I thought, is easy enough to throw together, so I did it up. Also weirdly different font for the door versus the roof?
It's cubed off up on the roof.
Yep, it's a completely different font style.
Hmm.
Next up is probably, man, I've been saying this a lot. This is definitely one of my favorites that I've done. I technically did this one for 1990 as well, but I had to do the hood for this one for 91 because the hood was blank in 90.
Oh, wow.
So,
Mike Skinner's first ride in the Cup Series.
yes, and he ran this paint for quite a while. I really don't know how I've never seen this paint prior to doing the 90 pack. I know this is 91, but like I said, he ran this one in 90 with the hood not having all that colorful stuff. That was a real pain to match up because you could see it like goes. I did a fade, but in a circle, and then had to crop it for the hood. But it goes pink to very slim yellow to white to very slim yellow to blue, and spacing that out and getting that gradient to be what I wanted for the circle was a real pain. But I am very happy with how that looks now.
Oh yeah.
There's the beautiful reference photo I had for those color circle. Alrighty. Now this one's gonna seem odd if you don't know about it.
It's AJ Foyt, but it's Mike Chase.
Yes, sir. So AJ Foyt did not race in 91 in his own car, to my knowledge, or if he did, it was not many races. But Mike Chase, who drove the 23 in 1990 for a bit from his own team, I think, drove this car in 91. And you can see they put their Freightliner or Freymiller Trucking Incorporated logo was on the hood for some of the races as well, which was his sponsor in 90. And I think might be his relations company. I don't have any facts to back that up, but I think it is. The next one, so I'm going to include this as part of the pack. Fantasy paint.
Oh yeah, Rob Moroso.
Yes, but do you notice what's different about this paint? Okay, I feel like I did a good job if you don't know what's different about it. So in 1990, it was red where this is blue, and it was blue where this is red. I just inverted it. I had to swap some of the logos around because they had different color outlines. But this is just the inverse paint. I thought it looked really good with this color setup and different, so I included it in the pack. Again, he's set to inactive or fantasy, whatever you want to call it, by default. I also took one of the other paints that had run, that Bobby Hillen ran, and put it on here because I feel like most of the paints Bobby Hillen ran, it said Rob Moroso Memorial. I feel like of the ones that were not specifically because of his passing, I think this one was the most likely for them to actually have gotten anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe the Glad one for Daytona. I don't know. I didn't include that one for this car. But what I am doing for, and I'll probably include them in the pack. You'll have to manually swap them though. But what I did end up doing is the Moroso Racing team also for a couple of races had the number 27 car as well. So they entered two cars, and the second one being 27. So what I did is I took all of the paints that Bobby Hillen has in the number 20 in the main pack, and I made the same paints with the number 27 on it. So that way, if you put Rob Moroso in the pack, you could still have Bobby Hillen in the pack as well, and it's just an extra car. So I thought that would be a good inclusion.
Yes.
All right, next up, I'm going to actually start not with the default one here. So this isn't the default paint, but Eddie Bierschwale in the number 23, unsponsored. There's multiple versions of this car. As some of the lower funded teams often did, they'd slap one logo on it here for one race and a logo here for another race, and last minute deals and last minute logo slapping. It just, it was all over the place. But his default paint is this one.
Auto finders.
Auto finders on the side, and racing. It specifically is not racing for a cure. It specifically says racing for cure is how all of the text is on this car. But I drew that teddy bear myself based on the one that they had in pictures. I tried to redraw the Auto Finders car from that logo from '91, but man, finding any reference to that was not really hard to tell what's going on, where to draw, to recreate, was darn near impossible. So I just kind of cleaned it up a little and just slapped it on there because I could not find a good thing to base off of. Also, completely different for Eddie Bierschwale.
Oh, Texaco Havel.
That's it, Texaco. Just Texaco, the gas station only, not Haviland for some reason, sponsored Eddie Bierschwale and this number 95 car for, it was at least 2 races that I know of. It might have been 3, but at least 2 that he made. They sponsored him for that. And it was actually a different team. It was Sadler Brothers Racing, and no, I don't know if it was that Sadler Brothers.
No, I don't think it was.
I don't think so either, based on the time period, because they would have just been either really young or maybe it's their dads even. Actually, that'd be interesting to find out. I don't have those facts. I was busy doing paints and modding. I didn't have time to look up facts. But yeah, so when it was the 23, it was Bierschwale Motorsports. When it was the Texaco 95, it was Sadler Brothers Racing. And Sadler Brothers had other races with this 95 car, but pretty much every race was a different driver, so I just ended up kind of tacking this one on to Eddie. But if you're a little bit familiar with the modding stuff, you could easily add somebody else and swap the paint in. Next up is I had a lot of fun doing this paint, and I was so glad I found some good pictures of it.
I love that.
Andy Hillenburg, Fast Track, High Performance Racing School, Longhorn Stakes. This logo I got some help from Dr. Noise, and then I had to modify that logo quite a bit because it's on another paint and it's another one of those logos that had a bunch of variations. The Buick text, I know it looks faded out. That's actually how it is on the paint. They did just the black outline on the white. Let me see. So for a while, the pictures I had, that wasn't it. The pictures I had were this, which were just stills from the broadcast that I snipped, and then they interviewed him as well right after. It was his first race, and he had a crash. But then I found this photo, which is fantastic.
Oh, that's cool as hell.
Yeah. And then there's one more of the slide, which is very similar to the other one in black and white, but it got me a lot of the, what's on the trunk. There you could see the Buick font being, this is black and white, so that could be yellow for all we know, but it is actually white.
Yeah.
From the other photos. Also, I didn't make it, but because the only shot I have of it is this. But he ran this at... this was not Andy Hillenburg. This was a different driver. That's the other reason I didn't remake it. But this is at Phoenix on the front stretch. I have no idea what's on the hood, but the side is the wax shop or something like that, because I've seen that logo. We have that in our contigs pack. So I definitely have seen that. But different driver, and they only ran that one race, so just another fun one that didn't make the cut.
Yep.
All right, so next up we have... Oh, this is the one you've been waiting for, obviously, because this is one that you had a big hand in. A beautiful,
probably one of my favorite paint schemes I've ever made.
So a beautiful, beautiful Neil Bonnet fantasy car, if he didn't get know you wanted to do and insisted on doing most of the paint work, and we discussed a couple ideas and stuff first. I do have a couple small things to clean up on this one, so if you notice something when you're watching, if I was gonna say no need to comment because I know, but you know what? Comments supposedly help video viewage, so go ahead, comment and yell at me. I don't care.
Right.
But yeah, so this is a good fantasy paint. Valvoline being a sponsor that is not primary on anyone else except for the Bobby Hillen Moroso car, but that was again it was not their main sponsor. It was only a few races, so I was fine with Valvoline sponsored Neil before, so I think it was a good one to go with a fantasy paint. While it's not on. Go ahead.
And this was a kind of a 2-car idea because I took Mark Martin's future 1997 or 96 or 97 Suzuka car and Neil Bonnet's 1988 Valvoline car and just threw it together.
Yeah. And I'm pretty happy with this one too. So that's a good fantasy one to include. Next up, we have Bill Venturini's number 35. This one did not really change much from 90 to 91. Romar was added to the C post, and the Lumina was pink on the front to match the pink outline they put on the numbers. Actually, I think the pink outline's new as well. There's that Wax Shop logo that was on that 99. There's a different color version of it, but that's that logo that I mentioned. But otherwise, this one's pretty much the same as the previous year. One of the ones from the previous year, because he had 2 versions last time. Another brand new paint for 91. Well, I was going to say, do you know this driver? The name's right here. Duh. H.B. Bailey. He ran this car also in 90, but he didn't run as many races in 90 as he did 91. But this pretty simple design, but still pretty standout. I also think, is that his wife or girlfriend's name that they put on the C post?
I'm not sure. That's something interesting to look up.
Yeah, I know it's there. I just don't know whether it was a wife, a daughter, who knows. Maybe the owner's wife even. If it's not, although it's probably him, knowing how the smaller teams operated.
Yeah.
So if you guys remember from 1990, Irv Orr drove the number 0 car, which was the skull paint, and the team car to what was at the time Terry Labonte's number 1 skull paint, the black and white one. However, in 91, he ran a very, very, very different paint scheme and number combo.
Oh, cool.
So this one...
that's an interesting paint scheme.
Yes, it's interesting is the word. I oddly like it. But yeah, this was run...
I do too.
This was run at Sonoma and Watkins Glen. And the weirdest part, if you look at the numbers, the weirdest part is that this 4 comes to a point, this one squares off. And making that was actually way more of a pain than it should have been, because every time I did it, it looked just too elongated or too messed up. But on the door numbers, they had it that way, so that's what I did. But I have a few. All the high quality shots are low res, but it was good to get some of the other wording on the different paints. Actually, here's something we forgot to mention about Ricky Rudd. I didn't think I had a picture of it.
Man, I told you to do it, and you didn't do it.
No, I didn't do it. It was only for one race.
You should.
It was only for one race. My rule is, unless it's a road course ringer or a super speedway ringer or something, or a special thing like they did at Daytona for the Army and everything, I try not to do the one race weird paints. just because it's a lot of effort. Well, okay, this one wouldn't have been as much effort, but I also don't have any good pictures of it, so I don't know how much of it is or isn't just solid black.
The whole front nose is black.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll sneak that one in there yet. But yeah, so do you want to? I mean, you should tell this story because I don't know this one that well.
So, Ricky Rudd ended up being in a wreck at the Glen, the same Glen race that we lost J.D. McDuffie, and they didn't have a front nose, so they went around looking for a front nose. The team that saved them was Dale Earnhardt. They had a spare front nose. They destroyed the quarter panel. It was bad enough to where they had to get replacement parts. And so Earnhardt's team gave them a front nose, and that's why it's black.
And what I think makes that, like, way more, like, such a... I mean, that's an interesting story to begin with. But what makes that crazy interesting is years later, unbeknownst to most fans, if not all fans, we learned when Ricky Rudd went on Earnhardt Jr.'s podcast that Rudd and Earnhardt, or Rudd had like a grudge against Earnhardt because Earnhardt took his ride at RCR, more or less, is the way he felt about it. So that, you know, knowing that was going on in Rudd's mind and knowing that that's the team that they had to rely on to save their butts that weekend, like I think that adds a layer to it that, you know, nobody knew about at the time.
Especially a big team like Hendrick Motorsports.
Yeah.
You know?
True. On the note of the 44 car, I cannot confirm for sure, but Jack Sellers, number 44, Coke Quaker State, is the only picture I could find of this car. I really wanted to do this one, except it was, like I said, it was a one-race thing. But also, I'm pretty sure this was an ARCA car most of the time, and I'm not sure if this photo is the Cup Series or not. That does look like the Winston logo now that I think about it.
Yeah, it is the Cup Series.
But what track? What track is this?
It looks like Dover or maybe Charlotte.
Yeah, it's pretty steep banking, but it also grass right by the track too. For 91, yep. I don't know. But either way, I did not do this one. I might do this one another time for, like, if I feel like it. I might do this one as like, hey, here's a custom paint for you to run. Well, I'm going to put Coke in as one of the potential sponsors in the game, so I'll probably slap it together and be like, if you get Coke, you could run that paint. Also, the 44 for Pocono.
Had High Point betting on.
Remember this company we talked about with Dave Marcus? I forget who drove it. I thought I had one more picture. No, I don't. Okay, that was the last picture for Pocono. But they drove it at Pocono in the fall, and they spun it out of the tunnel turn. So there's a couple shots of it, but they aren't great. But yeah. It does just say High Point betting around most of it. But again, I was fine with doing just one paint because it wasn't. I don't think it was Ervor at that time. So next up is another fantasy paint that you've not seen any of these, pretty much. But Tim Richmond's 91 fantasy paint. If you guys remember what the 1991 looked like, it's similar-ish, but this is the slightly different one for 91. Ironically, I use the Colt Trickle 46, obviously, but Exxon ends up next to that 46, which I think is funny, considering Exxon being on the 51 in the movie. But Hendrick had Exxon on and Superflow on all of their cars, which, by the way, if you didn't know, Days of Thunder, lore breaking, Exxon owns Superflow is a product of Exxon.
Yep.
So the really weird thing the movie doesn't really let you know, unless you know, if you know, you know, sort of thing, is that the sponsor for Colt Trickle that they suddenly get and finally get when they need it at most is actually the same sponsor of Rowdy Burns, just a different company under that umbrella, or a different brand under that umbrella. So I always thought that was kind of funny. But this is actually just the kind of pink slice design with the old Milwaukee colors. But I did move it up. I was gonna have it split the number, but it didn't look great, so I just had it spike up and back.
Around, yeah.
Yep. So pretty simple design, but I do think it fits the 91 Simple Designs sort of style they had back then.
Very well, yeah.
I did my initial draft of this, I took the old Milwaukee logo, that symbol here, and I rotated it and slapped it on the door really big. And I was going to make that like the shape and design that was on the side, but it did not look good. So I ended up not going with that. Okay, next up we have Jeff Purvis.
Oh, boy.
And so this one, pretty much exactly the same as 1990, right?
Yeah.
But there are two other versions of this paint. One is a little different, which is the Phoenix
Racing.
No, Phoenix Construction.
Phoenix Construction.
Yep, not Phoenix Racing, Phoenix Construction.
What would end up being Phoenix Racing.
Yes. That was run, I believe, Talladega, and I wasn't going to do that paint because I couldn't find a single picture of it, and then I found nope, sorry, that's the regular one. And then I found a black and white photo because he blew a motor on like lap 3. That's why I couldn't find any pictures of it. But I found this where he was blown up. They didn't even throw the yellow for it. He blew up on the front stretch. He went through the tri-oval with this smoke and probably some oil down. And 1991 fashion NASCAR, no yellow. Keep running. So
whatever.
So that's the Phoenix one. Now that said, one of the tougher paints to do, and not because of the paint, but because of the logo on the hood, Seat Tech. They ran this at Phoenix in the fall, and I believe one other time, but I looked at this logo in this shot, and then I got this shot, and I thought it looked like one thing, and then I got this shot, and then now here it looks like only 4 stripes, but here it looks like who knows how many stripes. But it's the same.
And something.
Yep. And then I also got some help on that, and here's another version. This is a Busch Series car that had the same design and everything, but this S is a different style. This one has the multiple little thin lines again. But yeah, then when I saw this one, I saw it was different. When I looked up the logo, it was all different. And something else that's fun to note about this paint, they had cropped this to outline the car number that they originally had on there. I don't know exactly what that car number was. You could speculate and say maybe it was a 4. But if you look at the 23, it molds to that
to the
2
on
this side, and the other side probably just the back of the 3, which is just a straight line. But obviously on the 51 paint, it kind of molds. You could say it's a 1, potentially, but it's not that style font of 1. So weird little design choice, but I made sure to include that on both sides. But this S I kind of had to make. I looked up Seat Tech's logos, and they had many, many, many iterations and variations, and none of them looked like the one that I ended up making and had seen on those cars. So I'm still not happy with it personally, but it's after many iterations of it, that was as good as it was getting. Okay, next we have John Paul Jr. This is a fun one. Do you know why this is a fun one?
Not right off the top of hand.
There's some. I mean, you can see why it's a fun one on the paint if you see a couple details. So what do we have here?
Shamrocks.
Yep. And what sort of team would put Shamrocks on their car if they're not getting paid by
an Irish team?
Yep, Team Ireland. That's what this car is from. And there's two slightly different versions of this. One that has Mondello Park, pretty big on the side, and then the other version has let's switch off and on. It has the Longhorn Stakes in more spots in Mondello Park, just small. But I want to note that every version of this car, and including the Longhorn Stakes logo on the other paint we had earlier, the stakes changes between each paint. The size and shape of the logo changes in a lot of spaces. The bull that they have, sometimes it's in place of the O in long, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's white with the black stripes, sometimes it's black with white stripes. So there's all sorts of versions of this that I had to fiddle around and make. But that's part of the fun. All right, this next one I know you're excited for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I really liked the fact that they had the black and white version of a Jasper logo, even though the paint scheme's very colorful and bright and pops, but yet they had one of the most basic versions of the logo, like, old school style. I also did the different grille on the front because they had that going on. And this was another weird one where they had white between the letters in some places, and in this spot they didn't. And I don't know why.
Interesting.
I don't know why that design choice was made with the logo, but that's how it is. So that's what we did. All right. This one's going to seem really familiar.
Yeah, again.
Yep, for the third different time, the Napa Valvoline comboed blue car. So this, I included this one because it was easy to add. This was actually, I believe, only a one-off that they ran this. I could not find. He ran 2 races. I could not find pictures of the other race he ran, so this is the only paint scheme I have for him. Next up. Care to take this one?
The Legend of J.D. McDuffie.
And I have 4 different paints for him. Or 4, well, I should say just 4 variations of paints.
There's no words for J.D. McDuffie.
I agree. So I have, I did not hit apply. Double whoops. So this is the one that ran Watkins Glen, unfortunately, where LCW jumped on board as a sponsor a bit last minute. There's also the blue version of this car, which he ran very early in the season. This one obviously looks like his 1990 paint.
Yeah.
And I came across, while trying to find better photos of the Watkins Glen and Pocono cars that I showed before and some other ones from the season, I found this one. And I believe, if I remember right, he ran, I want to say Bristol or Richmond, one of the short tracks with this car.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was another one that I decided to throw together. I really like this gold number, how that came out. That was pretty nice versus the real thing. But I have, let me just show the picture quick. So it is silver here, and some stuff is different because this was run in some vintage races and stuff like that. So the contigs are not accurate to 91. But I did find other. It was Dover. So he that car had wrecked at Dover, and then they rebuilt it. And this is the story. NASCAR man. Yeah, this is by NASCAR Man. So if he's not right, I don't know who is. The
only other person I can think of is Brock Beard.
Yeah. So.
And he wrote a book on J.D. McDuffie.
Yeah. So I ended up doing this one just because I thought the number was really cool, and it's one color car, so it's simple enough. And I had like I showed, I had that the restored one here, where they just it was restored, but they changed a couple things. But for the most part, it's still the same.
It's very, very close, very accurate.
Yeah, really, just the number color is the main thing they didn't quite get. That was about it. All right, next up, Phil Barkdahl.
Lord bless him.
And
he just recently passed away too.
Oh, did he? I did not know that.
Yes, he did.
This one, very similar to his 90 paint. Weirdly, they got rid of the yellow stripes. If you remember those three or so stripes that would go down the side and not down the roof, they got rid of those between 90 and 91. This logo, this TC's Top Dog, this is like a hot dog stand sponsor. That logo is really funny. Look them up if you get a chance.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was glad I found that. There's a couple of other small sponsors he had back here that I couldn't find a good picture of. But again, I get as accurate as I can with the photos I have. So there's the hot dog, but you can't tell what's here, what's there. I don't know. I was even glad that I figured out what this X-1R is, and that friction eliminators their words that they have, because you can just tell it's friction something, but when you search X1R with that, you find it. But yeah, I don't know what this logo is, WCP or WPC or something, whatever that stands for, I don't know. But you can see the TC's Top Dog, and it looks a lot like the Planters Peanuts guy, kind of, but it's a dog.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have no idea what this says. But that was the best shot of the car I had, was, of course, a Getty image, no surprise. I really wish some of those... There's so many pictures of cars that have been lost to the internet, thanks to all sorts of...
lost in time.
Yeah. Another 73 car, so there's two of them, was Bill Schmidt. And man, was I happy when I found what this logo was.
What?
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, so my reference was this at Phoenix. He crashed. There's the hood for Phoenix. There's the side, and there's the back. So my reference was this, but because he crashed, the announcer started talking about it. And give me a moment.
Insert clip here.
No, I'm not going to put the clip in. But little did I know, and you'll be surprised that I didn't already know this, but this is what sponsored him.
Was a video game. Yeah, for the NES.
It might have been on the NES. It also... I thought it was older than that initially. Although 91 was NES. Also on the Sega Genesis and the TurboGrafx 64.
That's
or
where I know
TurboGrafx
that
16
game from.
maybe. Yeah. So that's an old video game. Why they didn't use the actual like colored logo on, I guess time and money. Oh, there was the Best Dare logo I could find, but that's not what was on Davey's car, by the way. Yeah. But yeah, so that was... I thought that was awesome. A video game sponsor in a race car, and not even anything close to a racing game by any means. It's a very medieval fighting type of game.
Or RPG, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the alternate version, which has Motorcraft on it, and 7-Up as secondary sponsors. So by default, I have Schmidt set to part-time and Barkdahl set to inactive. You could swap those if you want. Again, you can swap them between races without having to unload the game now. So that's all fine and dandy and fun. So it'll be, if you want to mix up your roster, you can do that. Barkdahl, I think, only ran super speedways in 91. He might have run one other, but I do actually have, for the record, like the Vanilla Plus pack, I do have paint schemes and drivers and all that sort of info from race to race. I didn't quite make something in the tool that automatically detects the roster for each race yet. Not well for non-vanilla. I don't think I have that. Actually, it might be there. I don't know now that I think about it. I don't know. I'm not going to explain how to do it if I'm not sure it's there. But that might be there, so you might be able to just have them auto swap. But if not, you could always easily swap them manually a race or two. Next up is a paint that did not change basically at all. I think the two things that changed, if I remember right, the American flag on the C post, and I think the text here is new, the plastic piping products. But otherwise, Bill Sedgwick's paint was the same from 90 to 91. So that was an easy port.
Oh yeah.
Next paint, this is a really good one.
Oh, Hooters.
Before they were on Alan Kawicki's car. For Daytona and for the early season, they sponsored Mark Stahl. However, Mark Stahl failed to qualify to a lot of races that they attempted, especially early in the season. So that's when Hooters jumped ship. This Naturally Fresh logo, by the way, I had to make that. This was a freaking pain. Oh my lord. But by the time I was getting frustrated with it, I was too far in to not make it. Yeah, to not just go ahead and finish it. But there was a version of this that Dr. Noise hooked me up with, but where it was red and where it's yellow and where the stripes go out and how wide this swings were all different. Everything was different about it. So it was just a different variation of it. And I thought about just using that one for a while, but again, by the time I was gonna bail and just use that one, I was too far committed. It was too close to done. But it turned out pretty close. The font's not quite as thick as it was on that, but I didn't realize that till after I had gotten this far, so I just kind of left it. But I think it looks good. This logo, the Graphics Plus, was also fun to find, the Racing Decals Graphics Plus logo. And I think that's it for that one. Then we have the 87 of Randy Baker.
That's son of, half-brother of Buddy Baker.
Mm-hmm. And this one, I wasn't going to include this one because I didn't have a good picture of it. This was a very late edition, but I found some good photos of it. Actually, I found some good footage where they zoomed in on his car enough that I got some pictures from it to see what his logos were. The Chung King logo was fun to try to find.
If you flop the numbers around, the 78, it looks like the same font as Furniture Row Racing.
Absolutely. It's very similar. Also, what Joe Nemechek ran in the early 90s as well, when he had the 87 car. Was that his Busch car that was 87?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same font. Yeah, it's surprising. The more I've messed with paints, the more I've realized some of the fonts that have stayed for years. And actually, I want to point one thing out. So this is going to take a minute.
I apologize for getting sidetracked.
Nope, you're good. So the teardrop shape of an 8, or in the 8, that's actually really popular among multiple fonts. And while it's a different width of an 8 and the shape is different, they still had that teardrop offset for, I think I have 10 different fonts on my computer that have that teardrop, if not more. So I don't know why, but that's a popular font. Next up, this one's going to look familiar.
Jim Sauter.
The Evan Rude Pontiac. They changed a couple of subtle things. This used to have a white outline around the number. They filled in the spacing even where it was blue. Since they got rid of the outline, they still wanted it to pop, so they filled in the numbers there. Not too much different.
No, not really.
Than is 91, as well as this version is they just didn't give enough money, I guess, to be on the hood, but they were still on the sides and the back. So there was that version as well.
I do like the old school PPG logo on the side of the car.
Yeah, that's actually on quite a few cars as an associate sponsor. I'm gonna skip Dallenbach for now. He's got multiples. So Tommy Ellis, like I said, I threw him in the 97 since he ran that for a little bit. I don't know if it was only Charlotte that he ran, but Tommy ran 2 races. So actually, yeah, then I guess it wasn't just Charlotte, but he ran 2 races in this car, and since I had it painted, I thought I might as well throw it in.
I believe it was North Wilkesboro, the fall North Wilkesboro race and the fall Charlotte race.
That sounds right. And Bodine ran the 97 at Sonoma and Pocono. I think the second Pocono race.
Yeah.
Were the 2 weeks that he ran a different number. So we're gonna go to. Actually, you know what? We'll go back to Dallenbach. There was only one fill in there. I just want to jump ahead. So Dallenbach, this is primary one, which is the Ford Motorsport Sportswear sponsored car. That was his main sponsor for most of the races that he ran in 91. He was very much a rookie in NASCAR. I don't think... Oh, no, I did put the rookie stripes on. Okay. Finding what the trunk said took a long time, but I found that well after I had conceded of not putting anything on the trunk, and then I actually found the trunk logo in a readable fashion. I had plenty of ones where I could read it said Prospective, but I had no idea what it said in the small text, but then I finally found it. There are many, many versions of the 90 car for 1991, but I did 4 of them. So there's this one. There is the white variant.
Yep.
Which ran, I think, just as many races as the blue one. Sometimes without logos on it, sometimes with logos on it.
And that was his. That car is a Roush car.
I don't. Some of the season this one is. Some of the season this one's not. The one that definitely is a Roush car is the Roush Racing one. So this one he ran at, I want to say it was Watkins Glen. And yeah. I had to kind of make this logo a little bit. I found a version of it and then kind of had to mock it up. Also, Roush Racing, lowercase r's, and like a different font for the A. They had all sorts of weird stuff going on with their logo back then. But that's what was on it. That was as much as I could find. I couldn't find the trunk if anything was there. The nose still being blue I thought was interesting. But, you know, it was a basic paint. The main thing I had to do was the different number and the Roush logo. And then last, but certainly not least, so I'm going to jump away for a second. At Talladega, Wally Dallenbach had just landed a new sponsor and had just found out that he's going to be, just had signed a deal with Roush for the following year. And on all of that great news, he had wrecked at Talladega within the first 10 laps of the race with his brand new sponsor, Orkin Exterminator. And unfortunately, that was the only race they ever sponsored him for. It didn't go well, and they ended up not keeping that. I know about this. I do have to fix that stripe onto the back. I will fix that. I know about it already. But actually, I already have a different version of this. I just didn't update this one because this car. Let me show the pictures of this one a little bit. So this car, this was the main picture I had, which was from the starting grid. They showed and talked about him, and then I had this photo as well from
blowing
his
up.
Crash. Yeah, beat up and yeah, smoking. But what I didn't notice was this. And by this picture, you'd think, oh, they're white stripes. until, and this is why I try to watch all the races and pay a little bit of attention, at Charlotte. They ran the Orkin paint without the Orkin logo just because it was the same car rebuilt, and it's yellow stripes that they have going across the nose. And if you look, it actually does seem to be yellow, not white. So I did add those in. They're not here now, but I promise they have been added to the paint since I found that out after the fact. Also, there was a different driver driving the same number for a different team at Dover. I really wanted to do this one, but I could not figure out what the sponsor was, or exactly when this switches to red, because it's like somewhere here weirdly. Oh, actually, no, I did. I say red, it's actually orange. But even with this, RLG, I don't know. Could I make that logo myself? Sure. But I'd have to leave this out because I have no idea what it says.
It's probably a trunking company, most likely.
Yeah. But again, this then very quickly, and different font, side and roof, as a lot of the lower budget teams end up doing for some reason. But this kind of fell in the same category of, one, it was one race, and two, we have a 90 car already. So, we don't need to buy the 90 car. We have the 90 car at home. That sort of meme.
Yeah. Adage.
Yeah. All right, last one of that you guys are getting. John Krebs in a very familiar looking skull not bandit. This bird shape on the hood I drew twice. Once because I lost the original file somehow, and again because I had to draw it again. But I have reference pictures. It's an eagle flying, kind of. This
Interesting.
This is not in the Winston Cup series, even though he does have the Winston logo. This is actually the
Winston West
series. Yep. This was do you recognize this one?
That looks like a Kellogg's card.
That is what it is. They took the 41 and renumbered it, and he ran that for one race at Charlotte. But that was a different driver. That was Brad Teague, not John Krebs. So, again, a one race number we already are using sort of deal. But the reason John Krebs is in this pack is he is a road course ringer. He ran Sonoma pretty well, and I think he ran a couple of other races, but Sonoma was the only Cup race that I saw pictures of him. And if you notice, what's this car? Oh boy, that's the 1990 Jimmy Spencer ride running in the Winston West.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that car, that's where that car went the next year. But yeah, so this is all the reference I had for that eagle shape. So I did my best to just kind of draw that from completely freehand from scratch. I tried to find, and I don't think it looks super great, but it's good enough for me, I suppose. But I did try to find online like an outline or just a, like, I forget what they call that. It was helpful when I was searching, but like the completely solid like shadow of an eagle sort of deal. And I couldn't find a good shaped one. I can't think of what they call that with art, but right now I did at the time, so I promise you I searched it. And last but not part of the pack, and not least for me, is my dad's paint, which this one in real life was actually his 1989 paint, but
Still cool.
Yeah, this is gonna be his 91.
Nice.
So this, question is, do I have his reference photos where I can show you guys? I don't think I do, because I didn't really, some of them I have are physical photos and I didn't scan them. Yeah, no, I don't actually have that in my reference folder. But I promise you, this is what his car looked like, the number, font, style, and all. Now, his was not Wrangler. Again, that's the fantasy sponsor I gave him in 1990, and decided to carry that over to 91 because it's still a blue and yellow primarily paint. So, but yeah, I always thought that was a really cool paint scheme he ran, and yeah, so that's a fun one. I'm not going to reveal my career mode paint on this video. You guys will have to tune in to me actually playing and live streaming the career mode, which hopefully, if everything goes to schedule, will be September 27th. So I'm not going to say next Saturday, except I just did, because this video is not coming out right away. This will come out when the pack's out. I don't want to put this video up and then be like, you guys can't play it yet.
You tease.
Yeah, I don't want to be a tease. Honestly, Falcon's the only one who's getting that, because he had to make this video with me, and I want to get it recorded early. Question.
Sure.
Do we want to cover some of the paint schemes I'm not including beyond the ones we already covered?
Let's do that.
Okay. Give me a moment. Actually, completely unrelated. There's that from 1991.
Nice.
I really wanted to make this a background in the game, but I have it in that folder. It might get to be a background, but I think it's too small and it's a card, and it's a little tough to make that a background.
I play Sterling Marling wrecking in the ball of flames,
and it wipes out your 3-wide situation. We can make. I'm telling you, you know what? Honestly, oh my god! And if we do this, you could literally do it to where you play the actual cards from the old style.
Yeah.
Old collection.
All right, we're coming out.
Side project,
next, guys.
Yeah, side project. Take your existing NASCAR cards and you got to categorize them, and then I don't know. We could sleeve them in different sleeves, and then you know which card's which and what they can do. And we'll make a simple racing mayhem game.
Right.
All right. So of the cars I have not painted, there's some of these I'm sure I showed you. I know you sent me some of the font for this one, or somebody. Yep. Yeah, was it you? Okay.
I did.
It was either you or Needham, and I couldn't remember, but yeah, it was you that sent me the font for this one. Again, this one was I ended up not doing it because it was one race that they ran this paint.
And I love that paint color.
I do too.
Love that. Ooh.
I know it's the Miller, the old Miller. Or wait, was it Miller? No. Yeah, Miller Genuine Draft goldish tan that they had.
Or green.
I don't. Is it green?
It looks.
I mean,
green.
I guess it's got a hint of green, but no, it does have a hint of green. Unless it's just the grass reflecting. Well, no, I guess here it's not grass reflecting, but there's also a red version of this car. So I forget who drove it at Pocono. Actually, I should have that listed.
Racing reference.
I think it was Randy LaJoy that drove it at Pocono. There's a version of this car that was red. I don't know where the picture is. Oh, no, I do know where the picture is. This was Brian Ross at Daytona, but he did not make the field. So that's the same car, or at least the same team anyway. And then let's see, what else did I not paint? There's some Moroso cars. No, I did all the Moroso cars. This one I didn't do is Bobby Hillen driving the 27, but just to show you guys, I mentioned I have a couple of 27 paints. I didn't redo this one, but I probably could. This isn't too, it's one color, so it's just matching the logos up. But this one was what he ran at Daytona. And then also
World 600 Children's Charity.
But that's what they had on it for Daytona as well. See, it's on here. I think he only ran this one at Daytona. Because most of the rest of the year Bobby Hillen drove the 20 car. So yeah, it's kind of. I mean, it's a charity thing, so it's unrelated. But the fact that it said World 600 in the Daytona 500 is kind of funny. Also, I did not know that they. Oops. I did not know they changed the NASCAR logo for the Daytona race.
Oh, wow.
I've never seen that before. I just now noticed that live in this video. Also, I don't know what this was about.
So, okay, so NASCAR
you
made
did
up a
tell me.
rule.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. NASCAR made up a rule to even cars, or it would go, I think it was even and odd.
Yes.
Odd cars, if you had a 1 on your car, you could you pit first, and if you're got a 2, you would
pit the second time
second
by.
pace car. Yeah, yep.
No, it wasn't. It was the second lap of caution.
That didn't last very long.
No, they did it. I think they did it for like 3 races, and then for Bristol they did something different. I'll explain in a second.
The pit road.
Yeah, they were trying to make pit road less crowded and safer because 1990 had some not so great moments.
Fatalities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was yeah. So they tried to do some things there. But Bristol, they did it where if you were on the front stretch pit, you would pit like normal, and then you would be the inside line for the restart. And if you were the backstretch pit, you'd pit like normal, and you were the outside line for the restart. And lap cars were at the back. So double file restarts of the modern day, where it was all lead lap cars double file. No, Bristol did that in 1991. Way the heck before we ever made it a rule anywhere else.
Yep.
So that was, I thought that was an interesting one. This car, I can't confirm this is what the Cup car looks like. But this was the Winston West, actually I think specifically the Southwest event that this car ran.
I would love to see that car.
I may... So again, I was thinking of including a couple of, fantasy paints for drivers, for players to swap in if they're not painters and they don't want to paint their own stuff. I may end up doing this one. It's pretty much the same font as Dick Trickle's 37 was in the 2000s, which I know people have already painted, so I could even just grab that. I think it's the same. I have to check.
I believe so, maybe.
And you believe so, maybe. That's where I'm
at. Before Joe Nemechek and the 42 car.
Yeah. But yeah, so this may have run 1 Cup race. I don't have any proof of that, but supposedly, when I searched the driver in this car, Corelli, I found this Southwest Tour paint online, so that was... It probably was that one, because at that time, you could take a Winston West car and run it in a Cup field with some changes to it, and it was fine. One that I really wanted to do, and I still want to do, but not as part of the pack, was...
I think that one would be cool.
Yeah, so Blackie Ix, I believe his name is, if I remember right. Why do I not see his name listed in my list? I don't have his name listed. I thought that was Blackie Ix, but I'm not... Is that his last name? Do you remember?
I believe so.
Okay. So the only proof I have... Oh, no, sorry. Blackie Wangerin. Ix is the road course racer from F1. What am I thinking?
Yeah. You might be thinking of Jackie Ix.
Jackie Ix, yeah. That's what I was thinking of. Well, you know what? It rhymes. It rhymes. But yeah, so this...
Oh, boy.
This was the only picture I had for a long time, and then I stumbled on a modern day selling of this old car. Now, I do think that this was more red and less orange than it looks, and think that it got a little bit sun faded or something over time, or it's just that neon reflective orange, and just in some photos it looks red with different lighting. Oops, sorry, there's other cars there. But yeah, so there were pictures and video even of this thing running and for sale. So I'm probably gonna do this one as and then they slapped a logo on it here, but I don't think that was ever on the car when he raced. But again, I don't have proof either way. But yeah, I'm probably gonna do this one as a like, hey, if you want to have a fun extra paint, you could run this one when you don't have a sponsor,
right?
Sort of thing. Next up on cars, I did not do. This is So I don't have confirmation that this ran a cup race, but this is a very famous Busch Series car. Bobby
The
Labonte.
Labontes.
Bobby Labonte did make a cup start in the number 44 car. I have found zero footage and zero photos of it, but he did make a cup start, or at least attempted. I forget. I think he made the field and raced, but I have nothing. I have no proof that this is what he ran. But knowing how those teams operated at the time, most of the time, if they weren't driving for a different team, if they were just running their own stuff in Cup for a week, they just would run their Busch car with a different motor, or their Winston West car, or ARCA car. A lot of times those guys would just try to run the Cup race. So I don't have enough confirmation, and also it'd be a one-off paint with a lot of logos that are hard to find.
You said 1991, correct?
Yeah, I have him listed as he drove the Slim Jim number 14 at Dover in the spring, and he drove the number 44 Michigan at Michigan as well.
Okay, because I am looking on Racing Reference right
Yeah,
now.
I used Racing Reference. Good note for anyone watching. I use Racing Reference, and I also use a website called The Third Turn. The Third Turn, the reason I use them over Racing Reference sometimes is they list the sponsor for each race. Racing Reference is better about listing the car owner, but Third Turn is a little better about having the sponsor listed, or at least what the team wrote down as their primary sponsor.
You said which one? Dover?
The first Dover, and I think the first Michigan. I actually don't have it noted as to which one.
Yes. Bobby Labonte started 33rd, finished 34th. Slim Jim Bob Labonte as listed as the owner. Oldsmobile, and they had an engine failure on that.
Yeah.
And then you said the first,
which didn't bring out a yellow, race. Or if it brought out a yellow, they were in commercial and they never showed his car.
I believe it might be the second Michigan race.
Okay.
Race 19.
But yeah, the Dover one. The Dover one, it was car number 14.
Number 44, Slim Jim. It was the second. It was Dale Jarrett's very first win.
Yep. So Michigan, he ran the 44. Dover, he ran the number 14. Again, I have no. I watched those races on Classics or wherever I could find them, and there's no footage of that car, of either one.
Yeah, it's the 14. Yeah.
So 14 for Dover and 44 for Michigan, and I found neither. So, at that point we're speculating on paints. And again, while that was technically not a one-off, he made 2 starts. I wouldn't mind including him. I didn't get pictures for that. Number 45, Billy Fulcher. I have this photo, and I have this photo, and this is a very basic car that I could easily make, but I believe he DNQ'd most of the time, so he didn't make enough races for me to bother to make it, even though it is pretty basic paint. Let's see, I showed the 47. On a side note, paint schemes I found no pictures of. So 1991 Gary Ballou, number 27. I have looked and looked and looked and looked and looked and not found pictures of. He ran. Oh, sorry, that number 13, that gold paint. At Pocono, that was Gary Ballou. That was not Randy LaJoie. That's what I have in my notes. So Gary Ballou wrecked that car. So if I wanted to do a Gary Ballou paint, I could try to do that one, except I don't know what all the logos say. His sponsor when he drove the 27 for the Fall Charlotte race was called Terminal Trucking, which, depending on how you read that, sounds really bad or totally fine. Yeah, unfortunate name there. The other car I was super surprised I could not find any pictures of. Ran both Pocono races, or at least attempted. I don't know which ones he ran or attempted. Both Pocono races, Richmond in the fall, Dover in the fall, Martinsville in the fall, Darlington in the fall, and Rockingham in the fall. James Hilton, number 48, for his self-owned Hilton Motorsports. Some cars were Buicks, some cars were Chevys. I cannot find anything, and not a blurry picture, not a clear picture of his 1991 season. I even went as far as to join the James Hilton Facebook fan page and ask on there.
Wow.
They have every picture you can imagine, 1980s, 1990, like every single year there's multiple pictures from multiple people, except for 1991. And I have no freaking idea why. I found nothing of it. So that was a weird one. Jerry Hill, number 56. I found one picture of this car, and I did not have great confirmation that this is what he tried to run a cup race with. But this is from the 1991, this is what he attempted 1991 ARCA with at Daytona. But you could see this car. I don't even know what this is. But this is not an...
That looks like a old Dodge.
Yeah, honestly, it looks more like the Dash Series cars, except with a bigger cockpit. So yeah, I don't know what abomination combination of car this is, but I can't confirm that this ran Cup because I have tons of photos from Cup practice at Daytona, and none of them have this car. So, and I even have pictures of ARCA practice at Daytona, and none of them have this car. So, or this number. So I don't know what Jerry Hill's car looked like. And again, he only attempted 2 races. So, this was from Daytona. He didn't make Daytona. He ran Dover in the fall and Rockingham in the fall. And again, could not find anything of this car. Not a single glimpse. And then, so that was it for all the ones that I wanted to include in the pack for sure, that I missed completely. And then I have a couple more that did not get painted. So this one only ran Watkins Glen. And this is all I have of it. Whatever TPS stands for. TPS reports for any Office Space fans. Not The Office, but Office Space. Different thing. Good movie from the 90s. I think I know what paint this is because I'm pretty sure it's a red stripe with a red line, and I've seen this paint on, from a different car from 1990. I don't remember exactly what, but I have no way to confirm that. So this is all I had, and it only ran Watkins Glen, to my knowledge. So that one got left out. This one is supposedly Andy Belmont at Daytona, and I have a couple other pictures of it. The reason I say supposedly is, although now I'm certain of it. So what I wasn't sure of was whether this was 1991. Because there's tons of Daytona pictures I've seen and galleries I've found from 1991. I mean, Daytona's easy to find galleries and pictures for. The 500 and speed weeks and all that stuff. But I can't find any footage or pictures of this car in the qualifying races or anything outside of a random practice. So at the time, I wasn't 100% convinced, A, that this was... I mean, yes, it has Winston, but I wasn't 100% convinced because he entered the Busch Series as well. B, I thought this was his 1992 paint, from what I understood. But the reason I say now I'm actually convinced otherwise, granted he only ran, I think he only attempted Daytona. Yeah, that was it.
Right.
But yeah, so remember the NASCAR logo, how it has the flag and it says support our troops and stuff here?
Yep.
That was 1991 only. Or maybe even Daytona 1991 only. So this absolutely had to be 91. So yeah, that was only a one-off, so I didn't paint it, but I might do that one as a player paint option because again, it's a fun player paint.
I think that's a great idea.
This is Pocono. This is the only shot I have of the number 64 Gary Wright car at Pocono after he had spun. They didn't show anything else of his car or talk anything else about him. And the thing that I thought was weird is his name was listed as Gary Wright. His team is listed as White Racing. Not Wright Racing, White Racing. So I don't know if his name was wrong or his team, or if that's all correct. I have no idea. Let's see. The 72. This car ran Phoenix. This was about the best thing I could find. I really wish I knew what this was, because whatever that hood logo is looks like it's something fantastic. And this logo looks like it goes cursive into print. This looks interesting. It's unique shades of blue. This would be a fun little paint to do, but I don't have any proof of this otherwise. This was Chuck Bound, I believe, at Phoenix, and this was Mark Reed at Phoenix, and Chuck Bound also attempted some races in the 72, but he DNQ'd, and it was Daytona and Atlanta. The Chuck Bound one, though, I believe is this. Yeah, this is the Chuck Bound paint from Daytona. So if eagle-eyed people would notice, this is basically Benny Parsons' 72 that I think he must have bought off him. So those two got left out as well. I don't have a 72 car. This one was fun that I left out. I might do this one as a player paint option. I know it says 94. I know it says 1994 on this, which a lot of times, so sometimes the year was the car, sometimes the year was the set of cards. So like the 1994 set of cards, if it came out early enough in 94, was actually 1993 paints and pictures. And I know that's still not 91, right? This one is. This was 1991 at Michigan in the fall. And he does have the Winston logos. I thought this was an ARCA car for a while, but it's actually Winston one. Could I do this one? Probably. It's just a solid pink and just the font. I don't know what's written on the trunk. There is some yellow there, so something's written there. And some of these, I can't identify. Obviously, the Haviline one is easy, and the Wax Shop I recognize, but I don't know what's there. So, could I do this one? Yeah, probably. I might slap this one together. It's just making a funky custom font, or finding what that one is, because I don't know. This is another one. I'm not sure it was what he attempted the cup race with. But Bobby Gerhart, this is his 1991 ARCA car. And again, I don't know if this is what he tried the cup race with. This is the only photo I found of the car, so I don't have much proof of it for cup. But I do like this one. I mean, the checkered pattern's great. Yeah. The logo's pretty cool. The Thomas Chevrolet, I'm not sure what that says, but yeah, something. But still, that logo's cool.
That's Geo. That says Geo.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, the Chevrolet Geo. All right. Good spot. So yeah, this would be a fun one, but again, I don't have proof that this ever attempted a cup race, and even so, it would just be a one-off. So those are usually the ones I exclude if I cut the line. This one, I know I showed you this and talked about this off film with you.
Yeah.
So again, saw a listing of this, of old NASCAR Cup car. You can see Winston West logos on it. So a lot of the road course ringers would run the Winston West race and then run the Cup race. And that's exactly what this car did. This was at Sonoma. You can tell it's the same car pretty much. They didn't run this one elsewise. The only thing is the back of this is red. He has sponsors here. He has a sponsor there. But on this version, the back's not red. It's white. So you can see this is the back of the car. It has the logo there. But the back is completely white, so that changed. The sponsor logo is a different color. Sorry, there's nothing on the hood.
But if you look where that dirt is, where the spoiler meets, you could see where the red line was, and it goes all the way down the side.
You mean
so
like this, where the
somebody
dirt,
had,
yeah, I see it. Yeah, so the thing is, I don't know what any of the logos are. So I could do the design, but I wouldn't know what logos to slap on it. Again, I might do this one as a base for players, and then you could slap your own logos on it as you get them. Because I do want to include this because it is a cool looking. I mean, the pink and white, you don't see that often.
Nope.
But again, finding listings of cars for sale randomly in somebody's, like, where is this? Whether it's the people that bought it or sold it, I don't know. But I stumbled across some fun things along the way. There is Bobby Shot in the number 95. Now, we do have the Texaco. This is a different variation. I don't know what this logo is, but we have the Texaco, one of the variations of the Texaco car for Eddie Bierschwale. But Bobby Shot also ran the 95 with Shoney's in on it. And Texaco was still part of this. They must have been associated with the team.
Probably.
Also for Daytona, this paint I might do as a player option. KFC, its finger looking good. KFC sponsored a very small cup team that I believe failed to qualify for the 500. But yeah, so I thought that was a fun one too with Rick Jeffrey driving. And then this also, so this is where I get really confused. This is Speed Weeks, or somewhere after they redesigned the Navy car.
Yep.
This is a very different, completely different Kentucky Fried Chicken car that also has Winston logos on it. And again, you can see that different NASCAR logo for the Daytona race. And here they have the different one. So they redesigned the paint somewhere during Speed Weeks after the Navy one was redesigned. So who knows? You know what I mean? Like, it completely changed. So yeah, that's super weird and interesting, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then there's more of the Bierschwale one that I did paint. But again, the other Bierschwale one, I don't know what kind of like, I don't know.
Little character that is.
Yeah, it's maybe a dwarf from Snow White style character with a sword. It looks like. I have no idea what the sponsor is. If anybody knows, this is the fun part of the video for commenters and eagle-eyed people and people with good memories. If you have any idea what this is, let me know. Please comment that sort of stuff, because I think that'd be fun to learn what these are, and then maybe we could paint some cars with them. Because that's just an easy logo swap on the existing, and I mean technically a font change, but it doesn't have to be. But yeah. Next we have... this one you know. This one, you know what? I know you're going to tell me immediately. Add this one as a player paint option.
Please, for the love of God.
The old Chevy Ferrari. Driven by Phil Parsons at Daytona. Yeah, this, I have a different, little bit higher quality image. Also, if you notice, so this is fun. You want to play Spot the Difference here? Let's.
The numbers are flipped upside down.
Yeah. So the number, I don't know which one is closer to actual race time. I think this one. I don't know. Actually, this is, I would say probably so, because they have this taped off, which would be for qualifying or qualifying practice.
The nose is different too.
Yeah. Yeah, the nose is a little more pointed. And it has a completely different... you know what? It might just be taped off. It might just be... Because these were all, including the headlight, these are all openings for airflow.
Yeah, grill. Yeah.
So, it might just... This is probably just qualifying and they taped everything off. But yeah, they flipped the number around, which now it's... Actually, wait. Is that 96 in any orientation? No, it's still... If you flip this upside down, it's still 69.
Yeah, it's still 96.
No, it's still 69 on this one. Even if you flip it, it's still 69.
Yeah.
So, which was always a joke I said about 69 cars. If you flip them over, they're still the same number. But they literally crudely took those and flipped it or retaped it even. I don't even know. So then this should be later then. What I previously said was wrong. Also, he's a number 1 pitter, and they didn't have any of that here. So maybe this was after qualifying. But this
I wonder if he made the field.
I don't think he did. I don't believe so. Let me see what I have in my notes for this car. Wait, why do I not have notes for this car? No, then he definitely did not make the field. If I don't have notes for it, then he didn't make it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate, but that would have been amazing. Okay. Other potential extra cars. I'm not sure whether to include it, because this was a very early Speed Weeks, and I technically already have this design, or at least for the most part, I have this design from 1990. That's kind of why I didn't, and he didn't make a race in 91, so I didn't include it. For those reasons mainly.
Yeah.
Another one. I showed the 13. I showed the 45. Oh, Jimmy Horton. This one technically is an ARCA car. You can tell this logo here was the decal for ARCA at the time. But he also is listed, and here you can tell, Winston sticker. He also was listed at attempting the Cup race and not making it. So he DNQ'd. He only tried Daytona, I believe. So again, that's why I skipped this one. But just, you know, I want to be transparent with you guys on what got skipped and why, and just show you some of the fun paints that existed. Brad Teague in the 99. So Brad Teague ran Charlotte, the second Charlotte race. I do not have any pictures or anything of that Charlotte car. I do not know if it's this design, but he attempted Daytona with this one. I really hate this because even though this, I should be able to traffic. I'm not sure. Traffic engineering. That took me way too long to read with the light blue on the light yellow. Just blah. So much potential, but yeah, not not a paint that ran fast either. And I believe I think that's all I have. Here's another one I have of that 72 car. Yeah.
You can't even see it.
Nope. But that's that 72 car. That I was trying to get other shots of it. That's the 51 of Purvis, which I did get other shots of. Actually, no. That might... yeah, no, that is a 51. Okay. But yeah, I think that's all the Cup cars. This one... Here's a fun aside. This is not a Cup car. This is...
Oh, yeah. It's the Dodge Charger.
Is it?
Yeah, zoom in on it.
I mean, it's all Mopar performance, but that says Chrysler.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I wanted to show this one. I saved this picture because I was like, this is a really... First of all, pretty unique paint. But second of all, like, what the heck was going on? It's a Dodge Mopar Chrysler... What? I don't know what this is. But this ran ARCA in the Fall Michigan race. There's one photographer I found online who took all his photos from the grandstands, and all the photos are cars going down pit road in practice or qualifying or whatever. And he did ARCA. He just would go to the Fall Michigan race every year, and he had an ARCA picture of every car.
I know exactly what that car is.
Do you know?
It's called the Lebanon.
The Lebanon?
The Lebanon Coupe.
Lebanon. I somehow found the LeBaron.
Or LeBaron. LeBaron.
Oh no, okay. Oh no, okay. Well, this one says Chrysler TC, but that nose is a little more close, I think, than this is the LeBaron.
Yeah.
No, it is that design. I see it.
And yeah.
But yeah,
that is a Chrysler LeBaron.
LeBaron Coupe.
I found out what it is.
Good job. See, mystery solved. But it also says Dodge Mopar on it. I mean, like, if it was just here and just here, I would say, oh, it's just the sponsor of the ARCA series probably at the time. Except it's on the car here. That's not what series sponsors do. So it's a Chrysler sponsored by Mopar. Maybe was Mopar Dodge associated back then?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All of it. Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep was not owned by Chrysler. It was owned by AMG.
Okay.
And then Chrysler bought AMG later. So Jeep. But yeah, it was just Chrysler and Dodge.
Gotcha. All right. Well, one last little, I don't want to call it a teaser necessarily, but one last little thing to reward the people that have stayed this long. Some of the backgrounds I'm probably going to use for 1991 are some haulers that I found pictures of.
Oh, wow. I actually had that hauler.
Actually, I don't doubt it, because back then, they made the really mini haulers with the really mini cars. And I have a bunch of them too.
Micro machines.
Yeah, the micro machines. Why they don't keep doing that, I still think they would sell better than just the cars.
And I also have a Bahari Racing with the Jaguar on the side of the car, on the side of the hauler.
Nice. I actually recently bought side story playing on this. I say recently, it was quite a few months ago now, but my wife and I like to go thrift store gallivanting and sometimes buy stuff. But one of the thrift stores we were at, I spotted a couple of old haulers. There were only two of them, but one was a Joe Nemechek Busch Series Championship hauler in the box, and I forget if it was signed or not. I don't remember, but it was $10, and I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
it was
please.
It was the big size. It wasn't just not huge, but it was like the regular size. It wasn't Matchbox size. So yeah, I scooped that up. The Joe Nemechek Busch Championship one. It was pretty neat. But yeah, so that's all I've got for 1991. Falcon, thank you for joining me on this journey through the paints.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a favorite surprise offhand, or something that stood out? I'm just curious. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Really? I have to swing.
You can't say the bonnet. You can't say the bonnet one.
I
That's the only paint that you painted, so you can't say that one.
Well, the Interstate Batteries.
Okay.
If I had to pick one,
that's fair.
It would have to be I love green, so like as much green as possible. That's the kind of race car I want to drive anyway.
And it's got 3 different shades of it at the same, 3 different styles, all in one paint that still looks fluid. I think I'm torn between the Army car for Kawicki and and the Mike Skinner Glidden paint.
Mm-hmm.
They both were a pain, but in a fun way, and felt very good to be like, it's finished.
The Marine Corps car would be second.
Oh, the 88, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there was one other that we just covered that also stood out.
But that 31 takes the cake, though.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I know. I guess that was it. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for watching. And this pack, by the time this video's up, this pack is out. So go get it. Go play it if you haven't yet. If you haven't played the 1990 pack either, start a new career mode or season. Play 1990. Then at the end of that season, switch to 1991 for the next year. Play both of them. Get yourself back into career mode. It'll be fun, I promise, with the new tool and all the updates and stuff we got. Tire failures and stuff. You can pretend you got the tire wars. Granted, everybody's on Goodyears, but whatever you want to call it. I know that was more 92 than 91, but still, you could the
beginnings of the tire war.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Thanks again for watching. I know it was super long, but covered literally everything, and a little bit of some peeks behind the curtain of what I couldn't find, what I wanted to include, and what was, I don't think, worth the effort necessarily when you're looking at a list of like 70 some paints to do. You have to decide. Well, 70 some paints are what I did. 70 some drivers. There's more than 70 paints. There's probably about 90 paints. But if I did literally every paint that I showed and guesstimated at some stuff, it probably would have been 120. And when you're looking at 120 paints to do and you're like, I want to get this out as soon as possible, you have to cut something. So
oh yeah,
I started with all the guys that were one-offs.
Content.
Yeah, I mean we could do more after the fact if people want, or maybe revisit it someday. Who knows? But
just make a one-off pack, for drivers who only made one start.
Yeah, there you go. A whole separate pack of this paint only had one race. It got one life. All right, well, stay tuned for other pack releases and stuff on this channel, and streams on Saturday nights at least. Whenever Cup's not racing and I'm not like sick or something or on vacation, then I stream him every Saturday. Otherwise, also stay tuned for a future maybe. Hashtag sarcastic, hashtag maybe not. I don't know why I'm hashtagging. NASCAR card game with 90s collectible cards? Something?
Yeah.
Throw your Sterling Marlin trap card out there? I don't know.
Hang on. Yu-Gi-Oh! Come on now.
Hang on, I throw DW flip it trap card. Pocono.
Your car is out. I throw Davey Allison 1992.
Pocono. Aha.
Pocono.
Yours is more recent. I lose. Oh man, that could be fun. All right, catch you guys next time.